Hi guys, in this video, I'm Iskandar, as well as my group members will be talking about the different aspects of US culture, specifically mentioning the problem with language, problem with color, and problem with perception. This informs you how different the US culture is like compared to here in Malaysia. Just as a clarification, we do not mean to offend anybody watching this.
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm going to talk about the problem with language in the US. Raymond Cohens once used to say that every language conveys a unique representation of the world. Therefore, the research found out that people often understand a language based on their roots, culture, and education. Just like how Malaysians have their own problems with different states speaking different languages such as Chinese, Hindi, and Malay, this also causes communications issue as not everyone speaks the same language in Malaysia. Similarly, in the US, they are also facing the same problems when it comes to language. Take an example. Although English is the most commonly used language in the US, there are still many people who speak different languages such as Spanish, French, and Afrikaans. Therefore, the personal level of language capability causes the problems in language communication. Moreover, another interference of communication in the US is language barrier. People who are not speaking the same language causes misunderstanding and misinterpretations between people, such as speaking too softly, sender and receiver do not use the same language. Example like Malaysian often speaks in different slang and tone. However, not all Malaysian will be able to understand the different slang as this really depends on who are you speaking to. In contrast, there are also different accents in the US. Therefore, this causes difficulty in understanding different language for different people. Thank you.
Next, the decision in word choice. The US is the third largest country in the world, which contains more than 325 million people. This means that there are many different races, religions, and culture in the US. With such a big population, it is very important to choose and use the correct wording to express yourself, as people are really sensitive to specific cultural words, and making the wrong choice in wording may be very disrespectful and offensive to people's culture. Example, rubber in Malaysia means eraser, but however, rubber in American means condoms. That's all.
Thank you. In this generation, racism in the US has one of the highest crime rates in America that has not brought justice till this day. Since the beginning of the colonial rule and the era of slavery, racism, and national prejudice has one of the highest problems in the United States of America. It has existed when white Americans were given legally and or socially sanctioned privileges and rights, while these same rights did not apply to the minorities. Moreover, the law once acquiesced the legitimacy of racism and allowed the white people to be legally protected by the law. However, these laws did not apply to the Native Americans and African Americans. The term color line was also originally used as a reference to the racial segregation that existed in the United States of America once the racism was abolished.
Now I'm talking about the color of the flag. The flag of US consists of 13 equal horizontal stripes of red, alternating with white, with a blue rectangle in the center, bearing 50 small, white, 5 pointed stars in 9 offset horizontal rows, where rows of 6 stars alternate with rows of 5 stars. The color white signifies purified and innocent, red for hardiness and valor, and finally blue is the color of the chief that signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice. All 50 stars on the flag represent the 50 states of the United States of America. 13 stripes represent the 13 British colonies that declared independence from the Kingdom of Great Britain and become the first state in the US. I live in a country with a problem of racism as well. So I have the same feeling when there was unfair treatment. The world is not fair anymore, but it's our duty to have the position and defense for our lives. Thank you.
Hello, my name is is Ray, and today I'll be talking about the problems of perception between Malaysia and the US. As for perception, I'll be talking about the different perceptions of culture, such as food, sports, and the holidays both countries celebrate. Let's start with food. Malaysia's cuisines reflect the multi-ethnic makeup of its population and is defined by its diversity. Many cultures from Malaysia and the surrounding areas have greatly influenced Malaysian cuisine with strong influence from Malay, Chinese, Indian, Thai, Javanese and Sumatran cuisines, while American cuisine was influenced by European and Native American in its early history. Today, there are a number of foods that are commonly identified as American, such as hamburgers, hot dogs, mac and cheese, meatloaf, etc., etc. Furthermore, on holidays, Malaysians celebrate holidays such as Merdeka Day, Hari Malaysia, Chinese New Year, Hari Deepavali, Hari Raya, Thaipusam, Wesak Day, etc., depending on their ethnicity and religion. Meanwhile, the United States celebrate Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, President's Day, and Veterans Day, etc., obviously stating how merrier Malaysia is than the US. Lastly, the United States is a sport-minded country. With millions of fans who follow football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, among other sports, baseball was known as America's favorite pastime, yet has been eclipsed by football as of today. Meanwhile, popular sports in Malaysia include badminton, bowling, football, squash, and field hockey. We also have a small scale of traditional sports such as WOW, sepak takraw, gasing, etc. Lastly, because of Malaysia's coastline, we are also popular for scuba diving, sailing, and other water sports and activities.
To conclude our video, there are differences in aspects of the US culture in comparison with Malaysia. The problem with its language, color, and perception. Let's start with the problem with language. 1. Every country has its national language, but not everyone practices it due to the differences in culture and race. However, there are ways to uphold the national language. We start with the youth. Language, can we start with school and education? How? Ensuring the teaching and learning of the language is done in an interesting manner to prevent students from studying just for the sake of passing examinations. 2. Language barriers. To prevent this problem from happening, use plain languages. Many people try to use bombastic words to make them look smarter and intelligent, but they are not doing anything besides pleasing people. Instead, it only leads to miscommunication. 3. The decision in word choice. The way to ensure good word choice is by the focus on the tone or diction of communication. Picking words that match with the tone, focus on the age group of the audience, and use bias-free language or word. Now, let's go to the problem with color. Racism is more than just words, beliefs, and actions. It includes all the barriers that prevent people from enjoying dignity and equality because of their race. Racism is a system of oppression that results from a combination of prejudice and power. This combination produces institutional structures and social practices that deny equity to people based on race. How can we prevent this from happening? Can we change the minds of the people, or should we educate the younger generation for a racism-free world? Schools should have culturally relevant teaching where teachers can create learning opportunities that acknowledge race, ethnicity, and prioritize preventing racism. Our last point, the problem with perception. The favorable rating and respect the world continues to give the United States, saying that the United States is fair and equal, does it respect the individual liberties of its people? On the other hand, the perception known for Malaysia is focused on our well-known tourist attractions, the diversity of being multicultural, and our differences in the unique type of delicacies. How can countries stop perceptions, build a brand, and increase reputation by building credibility, delivering strong value propositions, and involve reputable stakeholders? Besides that, use media and outreach, create an international setup and image, show the world the true stories, transparency in delivering the news. I have reached the end of our group's video.
Words can stay as words, this video can stay as a video, but actions can make a difference. We have to take action. I'm Love You Usain and I pray for a peaceful and cultural preserved nation.